All right, so for this video, I just want to spend a little bit more time talking about working within a table itself and what you can do with a table after it's already been created and saved. You may be wondering, oh, I created this table, I've got all my structure, and maybe I forgot to add a field. Oh, am I stuck with what I've got here? Can I make changes to it? The answer to that is absolutely. These tables are kind of living objects that you change over time. You can add fields, take fields away, update data, change data. Um, these tables are at your disposal to make changes whenever you would like to make them. So as this kind of hints over here, to click to add, I can add a field right now just by clicking this button. And let's say there was another piece of data I want from my inventory table I forgot to add when I originally created the table. So let's go ahead and add another text field. And let's say the field I meant to add but forgot was the name, like the pet's name. So let me call that field pet name. And from there, we can, within table, just type in that information. So as I've added a couple more examples, example records of pets. So we'll call the dog Buster, and the cat can be Fluffy, and we'll call the parrot Sam. The lizard can be George, and the ferret can be Molly. So as you can see, we added another field, added more data. You can make these changes whenever you like. Now, if there's other pieces of data, maybe that you need to change. Maybe you need to change a data type for some reason. Maybe a cage number used to have as numbers, and you wanted to change it to a text field or whatever. If you need to do that after the table's already created, you'll see over here in the upper left for views, you'll see this little icon here, and actually I can open this up. If you go into design view of your table, you'll see kind of a little different view. And what it shows here is all the field names, all the data types, and you can even put description information. This would be like for your own notes if you wanted to make some sort of note about what this field really means or what it contains. This is where you can make changes to a data type. Like I was saying, if cage number was a text or a number and you wanted to change it to text, you can do the drop down here. You can make all these changes to your fields. So you can maintain and manage tables throughout the life of the table. So you don't feel like you're ever stuck because you set up a structure that doesn't work anymore. You can always update these as needed. And then when you're done working in the design view, if you want to go back to the view we had before where you see all the fields laid out in rows, you come back over here to the views and you can go back to what they call data sheet view. That's what we saw before. Now if I click that, it's going to say that I need to save the table because remember I made this change. So if I click yes, it will it'll update this field now as a text field, and you'll be able to tell that because all the data is now aligned to the left like normal for text. And now we're back where we were before. There is one other thing I want to highlight when it comes to working in tables, and this will be something that if you're used to working in a spreadsheet, may not be something you're so familiar with because when you work in a spreadsheet and you make changes, when you're done making your changes to the data, you have to save the spreadsheet. If you don't save it, it's just going to revert back to whatever the data was before from your prior version. In Access, keep in mind that anytime you make a change in a table, it's live right then. There's no, like, let's say that instead of dog, this is now a hamster. Now, if this was a spreadsheet in Excel, I would have to click Save to save the fact that this record is now a hamster. Otherwise, if I didn't save it and closed out and I opened the spreadsheet back up, this would say dog again. In Access, it doesn't work that way. Any change you make in a table is live now. You don't have to save. So if I close this, you see it didn't prompt me to save any information or anything, but if I go back into the table, it's still Hamster. So that's just a big piece of information I want to relay, is that any changes you make, it's live right now. And this really comes into play if you're updating lots of data, and further down the road when we talk about running queries and updating data with queries, you want to make sure that the change that you're planning to make is what you're looking to do. Otherwise, you've updated data and it now is what it is. You can't avoid the change by saying, oh, if I just don't save the table, it'll go back to what it was. That's not how Access tables work. It's live right when you make the change.